Iran's Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi sharply criticized the Munich Security Conference. In a series of posts on X, Araghchi labeled the Munich Conference as Munich's Circus. He claimed that the European powers have lost influence in negotiations over Tehran's nuclear program. The Iranian FM also added that our friends in the region are far more effective and useful than the European Troika, which stands on the sidelines, and stressed that Germany has fully handed over its regional policies to Israel. Iran Foreign Minister said Munich Conference shows Europe's misguided policies led to diminished role in the globe. Europe's overall trajectory is dire, to say the least. What does this all mean in practical terms? The paralysis and irrelevance of the EU E3 is displayed in the dynamics surrounding the current talks over Iran's nuclear program, Iran's top diplomat noted. Araghchi's remarks came as the 62nd Munich Security Conference opened on Friday, drawing more than 60 heads of state and government, alongside roughly 100 foreign and defense ministers. The Munich Security Conference, attended annually by heads of state, foreign ministers, military officials, and policy experts, is widely described as the world's premier platform for debating global security challenges. This year's gathering featured discussions on the Ukraine war, Iran, and transatlantic tensions. Meanwhile, Reza Pahlavi, the son of Iran's former monarch, also attended the Munich security meet. Pahlavi said that U.S. military intervention could help accelerate political change inside Iran, and claimed Washington should avoid prolonged negotiations with Tehran over a nuclear deal.
To President Trump, you've deployed a massive armada and have signaled unmistakably that brutality's time is ending. The Iranian people heard you say help is on the way, and they have faith in you. Help them, and history will record you alongside not just the Iranian nations, but the world's greatest heroes. For the defense of liberty is a perennial duty, a torch passed from one generation of leadership to the next. There is no greater power in the world than the solidarity of the leader of the free world with a people yearning to be free. At the shadow fleet and imposed crippling tariffs. Iranians seize and appreciate these actions. Yet, the hour demands more than diplomatic scolding, more than kabuki theater. It is time to end the Islamic Republic. This is the demand echoing from the bloodshed of my compatriots, who are not asking us to fix the regime, but to help them bury it. The importance of a strike to neutralize the regime forces of repression is the element that could get people back into the streets to continue their struggle. That's the element that pretty much is at stake right now, which is why Iranians in Iran and abroad are awaiting impatiently that this happens faster and sooner rather than delaying it. Because as I said, I don't think these negotiations will amount to anything. The regime is simply buying time yet again. But every day that goes by, more people could die. That's how important an intervention is to equalize the playing field for us.
Earlier, Iranian ally Russia also criticized the Munich Security Conference for discussing additional military aid to Ukraine.
The Munich Security Conference has opened amid sharp divisions and explosive accusations as Russia and Ukraine trade fierce rhetoric on the global stage. Russian Foreign Ministry spokeswoman Maria Zakharova says the conference should stop debating additional military aid to Kyiv and instead confront what she calls Ukraine's hellish terrorism against Russian civilians. Zakharova urged Western leaders gathered in Munich to address what she described as indiscriminate attacks on civilians in Russia. Rather than pumping money into the ghouls on Bankova Street, she said, the focus should be on what Moscow calls Ukraine's cross-border aggression. The three-day summit, attended by more than 60 heads of state, is not only focused on Ukraine. Leaders are also debating the widening rift between the United States and the European Union. German Chancellor Friedrich Merz warned that the so-called rules-based international order no longer exists, while French President Emmanuel Macron called on Europe to accelerate its strategic autonomy. Meanwhile, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky delivered a forceful rebuttal. He insisted Ukraine tried everything to prevent war, but received little serious help before Russia's invasion. He posed a stark question to NATO. If Russian forces crossed into Lithuania or another eastern flank nation, would allies again respond with words instead of action? Zelensky argued that Europe must build its own credible military capability. Calling Ukraine the strongest army in Europe, he said it would be unwise to keep that force outside NATO. He said, "At least let that be your decision, not Putin's decision."
Thank you for your attention to Ukrainian people, and for supporting our independence and our Ukrainians. And I want to especially thank those who stand with us not only in words or not only in emotions, not only in the hope for more security, but in real action, in real work, in concrete help, like Germany, like Mark, like Ursula, Antonio, Roberta, and all our friends from the United States and all our European friends. Thank you so much for all your support. Thank you. And if you are a European leader and you meet Mark Rutte, you will definitely hear the word pearl. And not just once. And very serious things, really. He starts and ends every conversation with a call to support pearl. And he's right to do so. Thank you, Mark. Pearl is a program that allows us to buy Patriot missiles in the United States and other weapons that protect Ukrainians from Russian attacks, of course. Most of the air defense missiles that can stop Russian ballistic missiles come to us thanks to Pearl. And Pearl exists because of Europe, it's true. Europe is paying for our ability to stop ballistic attacks. Thanks everyone who helps us. Thank you. And honestly, one of the worst things a leader can hear in wartime is a report from the Air Force commander saying the air defense units are empty. Empty, and they used the air missiles to stop Russian strikes, and there was no resupply, and intelligence says a new massive attack may come in a day or two. Sometimes we manage to deliver new missiles for our Patriots or NASAMS just before an attack, and sometimes at the very last moment. And I want to especially thank Germany, Norway, Netherlands for their strong leadership in Europe in giving us air defense systems. Thank you very much. These systems save our lives. And thanks to every European leader who invests in Pearl and in other joint defense programs. And I'm proud of our soldiers who repel Russian attacks and of our logistic teams who have kept this system working for 4 years. And I'm proud of our nation. And it is the courage and resilience of Ukrainians that make the defense, that make the difference. And our people deserve gratitude, they deserve respect.